My native language is German. I further speak English fluently, and I speak French on an advanced level. I also learned Latin in school. I think identity is a tough question to answer. I believe that the places that I lived at and the country that I was born definitely are a part of my identity. I lived in 3 different places in Germany, but I also lived in France for a bit and in the UK for about a year, and I believe that all those places affect my identity. My friends, they also affect and sometimes maybe change my identity. I have friends all over the world that speak a lot of different languages, and I'm sure that this is part of my identity. And my studies, I study math, are definitely also part of my identity. It means a lot to me that I'm able to speak different languages. For example, I wouldn't be able to make this video if I wasn't able to speak English. Um, I think it opens me paths in my life. So, for example, I can go abroad on holidays in different countries, and I'm still able to talk to people, to communicate with people. It also helps me that I'm actually able to have friends that are not speaking German, and this is some sort of enriching my life, that I have friends from other cultures that speak other languages. It also is a possibility to even get to know a culture if you speak another language than your native language. I think you can't really discover a culture in a different country if you don't speak that language. It's really, really hard. It's not really possible. I use my second language a lot, so I'll use English a lot for my studies. A lot, most of the books that I need to read are in English and not in German. And I also use it to communicate with my friends that are from abroad. I read in other languages sometimes, and I also watch films sometimes in different languages. And occasionally I also read the news in another language. Oh yeah, when I'm on holidays, definitely I use it a lot. If I'm traveling somewhere outside of Germany, then I obviously need to speak another language in order to be able to communicate with other people. For my future, I'm absolutely sure that speaking French and English will help me for my future career. I also want to go abroad, possibly, or definitely work together with different people in my career, and you can't do that in a globalized world if you don't speak any other languages, or at least it's really, really hard. I also could imagine to work in a different country for a couple of years or maybe forever, and this is definitely something that I wouldn't be able to do if I didn't speak another language. And it's also nice to meet people that are completely different from you, and that speak another language than you, and that have a different view on the world than you, and you can just talk to them, and they tell you their different views on the world, and it's really interesting to listen to them and to see, oh yeah, this is another way that I could look at things, or okay, yeah, this is another way of looking at things, but I think it's wrong. But both ways are really, really interesting. for example, making this video, but I also have a couple of friends that I talk to quite frequently. I went abroad for a year to live in the UK and to study in the UK, and I obviously had to use it every single day. And I also read books in English sometimes. I also watch films in English sometimes, and occasionally in French. I know that learning another language isn't easy. It does mean that you have to work, you have to learn vocabulary, you have to learn grammar, and there's no way around this. If you're not absolutely genius. But I think it's worth it. So no matter which subject you're taking in school, you always have to do something for it. But if it's interesting, it doesn't matter. So if you're really into a subject and if it's really interesting, then you're also happy to learn, happy to sit down and look at things again and prepare for exams and stuff like that. So I know it's hard, but I think it's worth it because it opens you so many ways. It opens you. You can travel a lot more, and you can have friends from all over the world that you wouldn't have. You can for work if you want to go. If you're working somewhere and you have a colleague that maybe isn't completely fluent in English or whatever, then you can talk to them in your second, third language, whatever. And I think all those aspects are worth the work. Difficult at the beginning, but I love it.